Hi, my name is Miss Selena Charles, and I'm running for United States President 2024. The reason I chose to run for president and have been thinking about it for some time now is because I've been a registered voter for 20 years. I voted Democrat and have yet to see any benefits for our foundational Black Americans. Being a family member of a loved one who was lynched in November of 2020, his name was Kawan Charles. He was 15 years old. And witnessing all of these new cases of Blacks either being lynched, shot, or beaten, such as Rasheem Carter, Jalen Randall, and so many more I could add to the ugly face of racism. I'm running to declare that reparations be paid to foundational Black Americans. We deserve reparations. That's a debt that's owed to us. I support all Americans, and I stand for what is right. But as I sit and evaluate the reality of desperation that Black Americans encounter today, because we just want equal opportunity, we shouldn't have to march for equality or bring it to the public eye to get the attention for change. You don't see any other nationalities marching in the streets, begging for justice, or begging for equal opportunity. We as a Black people are tired. We have no one to speak up for us. If I'm elected as president and reparations are paid out, my goal is to develop a plan with my team, a strategic plan with strategic guidelines, such as some type of cash payout fund to foundational Black Americans. Now, don't get me wrong, these foundational Black Americans, they have to have businesses and organizations that's helping communities evolve. There's been justice and hate bills signed for everyone but foundational Black Americans. Think about it. Our ancestors have been enslaved, beaten, and lynched for us. We're in a state of emergency as a Black people because not only has this happened to our ancestors, but this is happening to us, to foundational Black Americans, African Americans. Today, Blacks are being hung in the courtroom, in the jailhouse, and lynched in the streets. We need police reform, jailhouse reform. We even need courthouse room reform. We need to end qualified immunity. Police officers should be held accountable for these murders and beatings they're committing in our communities that are unjustified. Another reason I'm running is because I'm a woman and I feel that I should have every right to do whatever I want with my body. The government is to govern the nation. The government should not have authorization to govern what I, as a woman, do with my body. This is my body. Women should have that right to have the say so over their bodies. I would also like to focus on mental health crisis. The percentage rate is higher in Black communities, and many of which are dehumanized by police because of their lack of training. An individual shouldn't have to encounter death because they're having a mental health episode. I've witnessed that time and time again. We are losing people because of a mental health crisis. There are many topics and situations that need to be addressed and need solutions. But my agenda is to get equality for foundational Black Americans. Everyone has received equal opportunity, but foundational Black people. If I am elected as your president, I will see to that a hate bill be put in place to protect Black people. I will also commit my focus on protection for domestic violence victims. Domestic violence victims need more protection. Protective orders should hold more weight, whereas when an attacker violates a protective order, they should be served the appropriate jail time to give victims time to relocate and to get things in order so they can be safe and protected. People, the time is now for a change. I'm a national civil rights activist. You know that I will stand for you. The world is going backwards. I also want to place my focus on gun control and our kids' safety in schools. I'm a mother. I couldn't fathom the thought of someone going into a school and killing my child. That is devastating. And we have been witnessing that time and time again. It's devastating news when we hear things such as these things happening in schools and in other places. We need more gun control. Another reason I'm seeking to run for president is for better financial ability for middle class. Middle class people are most overlooked. I myself falling in that bracket. The struggle is real. America is an amazing country, but we must work together and make it work for all Americans by being purpose for the people as a whole, not impartiality. I'm by far a politician, but it's time for someone to fight, to stand up and be purpose for all Americans. And that is my goal today. My agenda is to fight for foundational Black Americans, that they get the equal opportunity that they deserve as a Black people, women rights, gun control, police reform, ending qualified immunity. People, the time is now for a change. And we need someone in the House that will not be afraid to stand and take control. It is time out for us to be fighting against one another when it comes to the red and blue party. It's time out for the buy. It's time to put the buy out and let it be about the people. Please team with me. The Selena Charles for President 2024 campaign, and help me run for president for 2024. I need all boots on the ground. I will fight for you. And the only way that can happen is if you help me fight for you. If you're not registered to vote, the time is now to register to vote. Let's have a good turnout 2024. Thank you. And the only way that can happen is if you help me fight for you. If you're not registered to vote, the time is now to register to vote. Let's have a good turnout 2024. Thank you. Please team with me. The Selena Charles for President 2024 campaign, and help me run for president for 2024. I need all boots on the ground. I will fight for you. And the only way that can happen is if you help me fight for you. If you're not registered to vote, the time is now to register to vote. Let's have a good turnout 2024. Thank you.
Hey y'all, listen up. This is Selena Charles with Purpose for the People. Today I've been made aware of a story about a young man by the name of Ralph Yarl out of Kansas, Missouri. The young man was going to pick up his two siblings and he ended up knocking at the wrong door. He knocked at this Caucasian guy's door, and the Caucasian guy came out, shot Raph in the head, and somewhere, I guess, in the body area, whatever. Right now, 16-year-old Raph is laying in a hospital bed while the white supremacist that shot this young man for being black is in his house living his best life, and we're at home living our best lives right now, not saying anything about what has happened to this young man and what is going on. Right now in America, there is a state of emergency on black people. You ought to be upset. I have a 16-year-old young man. I have a 16-year-old son in my home. And if this was to happen to my child, I would want somebody to speak up and stand up for my child. Are you black? If you're a black, then show your blackness by supporting this family right now, putting it out on social media, getting your butts on the ground, and saying something needs to be done. The man that shot this child needs to be held accountable and he needs to be in jail right now.